And welcome back to the Oklahomans Video Studio. Camp Classen, YMCA Camp Classen, celebrating 75 years. I'm Dave Morris, joined by Scott Hall. He's Executive Director of YMCA Camp Classen. Sir, great to see you. Thanks for stopping in.
Oh, we appreciate you having us. We're always glad to talk camp. Thank you.
It is summertime. We're seeing the clouds roll by downtown Oklahoma City here. It feels like summer. It's kind of got that humidity that's so typical to Oklahoma weather.
It is, you know, and we've had all kinds of weather happening down at camp, but the key is that camp rolls on anyway. So we're still in the business of youth development. Whether we're cloudy or sunny, we can still accomplish our goals.
75 years. Camp Classen, located in Davis, Oklahoma, the Arbuckle Mountains of Oklahoma City. If you're headed down to Dallas and you are kind of midway between Oklahoma City and Dallas, hit the Arbuckles. That's where you guys are, nestled in the hills and the trees.
Exit 51, whether you're coming north or south. So it's been there for years, even going back to camp's foundings in 1941. We are celebrating our 75th anniversary. Camp had a history in a couple of different areas, originally located in Oklahoma City at a property here, then moved actually to the Falls property at Falls Creek for a little bit of time, you know, down in the Arbuckles, but eventually settled in 1941 right there on the property we're at. We've got about 2,300 acres. Have been there for 75 years and having a great time.
It is an expansive property too, but it's perfect for summer camp.
It is. You know, we've got two lakes. So Lick Creek comes down through the piece of property. We have an upper lake and a lower lake that we get to use for recreation. And water is never really, despite a lot of people in Oklahoma, for us, water is really never a big issue. We have plenty of it for recreation, which is really nice.
We're looking at some B-roll. In fact, for some full disclosure, we went and shot this a couple years ago. This is summer of 2014, I believe, and look at all the happy faces you're seeing there at camp.
They are. You know, kids come to camp, they have a great time, and one of the things about camp that we try to really impress upon parents is that it's not just about having fun, although it is a lot of fun. Camp's about youth development. At our core, the Y and Camp Classen is a youth development organization, and so what we pride ourselves on doing. So when kids come to camp, they not only have a great time, but they have an opportunity to learn new skills, meet new friends, and gain new things. So when a kid comes to camp, if he gets a little homesick, it's not always a bad thing, because eventually they're going to go to college or they're going to go to school somewhere away, and they have an opportunity to say, hey, I did that before. I was successful at camp. And not only that, I survived it without a screen when I was there. No pixels. They were pixel free, and they learned to tell and live about it,
That's a good point to make here. Tell me about the environment of camp. They don't have the digital devices in front of them. I have two in front of me right now.
Yeah, you know, they don't. And it's one of the things, camp has always been, even going back to 1941 when camp was founded, it was founded for a reason, to teach kids skills and a purpose. And back then, you know, there were a lot of concerns about wayward youth. So camp was a place where you could collect kids and you could teach them and grow them in the direction that you wanted to be, again, youth development. But today we're addressing an entirely different set of challenges, and one of those is sedentary lifestyles, one of those is health and nutrition, one of those is the fact that these kids are staring at screens so much of the time they don't know how to have a face-to-face conversation always. So camp really addresses all those issues. They get a chance to learn about conflict management a little bit under the guidance of a counselor. Have I ever roomed with another person, or am I fortunate enough to have my own bedroom at home? When I go to camp, I have to learn how to live with other people and get along, and those are skills for a lifetime.
I remember talking to some of the kiddos following Camp Classen a couple years ago, back in 2014, and we asked them what they really liked about it. And the two things that I remember them saying were the skills they developed, whether it was swimming or just coping throughout the day of the itinerary that they worked through, but then their friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Lifelong friends are made at camp, and we don't advertise this a lot, but a lot of staff meet and marry after they've been counselors at camp. I mean, there's no better place really to find out who a person really is than when you put them out to camp, and they're under the stress and pressure and the heat. But those bring out great character qualities, and it's an opportunity for us as an organization that's all about caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility to use those as teaching opportunities. Again, we have a lot of fun at camp, but we go back to the idea that we're a youth development organization. And so we have an opportunity to teach a lot of those things. Kids make great friends when they're at camp.
We'll get into the fact that registration is still open for various camps this summer. I want to mention this book real fast. It's called Cornerstone, the YMCA of Greater Oklahoma City, 125 years. My colleagues Steve Lackmeyer and Jack Money wrote this book, and it has a handful of pages dedicated to camp towards the end of it, and specifically Camp Classen. It's a who's who of Oklahoma City civic leaders who have contributed over the decades to the YMCA's camp programs.
Absolutely. When you go out to camp, you'll see names like Everest, Brown from the Coca-Cola Company, Even Gaylord is not on on any one of our cabins, but very active if you look at the history of Camp Classen early on. Again, because our civic leaders understood instinctively that if we can gather kids in one place, teach them the skills that we want them to know, and kind of have them set apart from their homes for a period of time where they come out and they learn new skills, that we can have a real impact on the future of our country, and camp is still for that today.
I was reading that the daily program at Camp Cunningham, it was called back in the day,
Yeah.
6:30, started with reveille, 9:30 p.m. and ended with taps. That's not still the case though, is it?
No, not reveille. We play music in the morning, and we replace calisthenics with a lot of fun games. So again, the end goal is always the same, is for kids to go home a little better than we found them. And so we use the tool of camp to introduce new skills and new ideas to them, and grow them not only socially, emotionally, but spiritually as well. So, one of the neatest things about camp is that we never want a kid to miss out. The Y is all about inclusion and all about making our programs available to anybody, regardless of their ability to pay. So each year, we go through our own annual campaign, just like the Y does, to raise funds to make sure that no child ever has to miss out on camp.
So if any kid wants to go to camp, the door's open.
The door is always open. If parents are willing to partner with us, we'll partner with them to make sure that their child can get to camp and grow and learn just like everyone else.
All right, so who is eligible to go? What's the age range and what are the various camps that are offered?
We offer camps for some specific interests. We have a Colorado trip that we send out a couple of times a year for kids that are a little bit older, so they get a little more of a premium experience. But campers generally ages 7 through 14, or 15, excuse me, can come to camp. Once they reach age 15, they move into what we call a CIT program. So they're counselors in training, and they enter kind of a leadership development piece. They understand camp very well, and then they may want to come back and be a counselor too.
Well, let's talk about that, future employment. Perhaps you have an older kiddo who wants to do something with himself that summer. Counselor positions?
Absolutely. We hire all year long. We're looking for really mature and stable individuals who can invest in the life of somebody else. So when you come to camp as a counselor, you're not coming because you want to be there for you. You're coming because you want to invest in another youth. I had one of our current CITs actually just the other day stopped me on Friday night at the dance. He came up and talked to me a little bit. He said he had been to Europe already this year and was telling me all about the chapels and things that they went to in Rome and Italy, and he did everything else. He said he had chances to do other things, but he wanted to come back to camp this summer because he wanted to invest in the lives of kids that were a little bit younger with him and make sure that they had the same experience that he had. This is coming out of a 17-year-old rising senior in high school who had been through our program. That's pretty impressive.
He had a good experience and he wanted to give back.
Absolutely.
All right, very good. Registration underway. You can find that online at ymcaokc.org/camp-classen if you want to go straight to it. What are some of the activities that are offered at camp? We saw some of the footage. It's your typical fun and games, but a lot of educational stuff there too.
There are. Camp's about developing new skills and learning new things and challenging yourself. So we have a wide variety of activities kids can choose from, being in what we call Mike Club, where they get to do skits in front of their peers at night at the fireside. They can choose to do archery or BB guns. They can choose an equestrian track, where we have really one of the best horsemen anywhere west of the Mississippi, as far as I'm concerned, in Russell Golson, who heads up our equestrian program and does a terrific job. So there are aquatics activities, there's equestrian activities, there's target sports, there's field games, there's arts and crafts, there's drama. There's really anything that you want to do to challenge yourself, and kids have an opportunity to learn and grow from that.
Wasn't there a big swing or something, I remember?
There was. We call it the Screamer Swing. And it is a giant swing that the kids really enjoy out at 89er Village. And they get the chance to, it's sort of a team event, but they get a chance to put each other through that swing and have a great time doing it. And in the process, learn a little bit more about themselves. Some may be a little bit afraid of heights, but I'll tell you, one of the greatest things we see at camp is when you have one camper who may be a little hesitant to try something new, like the blob at the lake or the Screamer Swing, and all his cabin mates or her cabin mates come around them and encourage them, and they go for it. That's a great thing.
Well, I'm sure that is. And also you mentioned the drama or speaking in front of other people. When you get away from your comfort zone of family and friends and you're in a one-off situation, you kind of reinvent yourself. Perhaps they develop a skill, a speaking skill or a drama skill that they didn't know they had.
Yeah, or they find themselves again. I got an email just the other day from a parent our registrar had sent to us. We had made away for them to get to camp through our financial assistance. And she said, I want to thank you for allowing my kid to get back to camp again this year. She said he went last year, and when he came home, he said, Mom, I feel like my old self again. What she wanted to say was, and what she did say, was that she was a single parent, no dad in the home necessarily, and he didn't get a lot of guide time. And so when he got to camp, he had a chance to explore camp and explore the grounds, try new things with other guys, and he just came home, felt like himself all over again. Pretty neat.
Fantastic. We're talking with Scott Hall, Executive Director of the YMCA Camp Classen. And one last thing for you, Scott. The footage we've been looking at again was shot back in 2014, but I'm assuming there's been ongoing renovations and some changes and updates.
You know, in celebration of our 75th anniversary, we've kind of developed a theme, 75 years behind us and 75 years ahead, establishing the future of YMCA Camp Classen. And we have a ton to celebrate from our past 75 years, but as we took a look at our grounds, at our cabins, everything was beautiful, everything was wonderful, but it was clear the first 75 years had taken a toll, and so we wanted to reinvest in the property and make sure that it was there for another 75 years for future generations. So we've invested about $1.75 million so far into the property, probably a little bit more than that too if you consider some of the work we did on the main camp spillway and dam that's there. We put in a new waterfront. We've completely renovated half of the cabin area and changed the pathways with pathway lighting, improved access for people with disabilities a little bit as well. And we've got more projects on tap too, so it's really exciting. We're still doing that fundraising, by the way, if anyone wants to chip in.
It is the YMCA Camp Classen, Davis, Oklahoma, down in the Arbuckle Mountains. He is Scott Hall, Executive Director. So if you go to camp, you're going to see this gentleman. He's down there. And you can find more information, including how to register, and all that information is available at ymcaokc.org, and that direct link then would be /camp-classen. Scott, it's great to see you again.
Thank you. I appreciate you having us. It's always fun to talk camp. I tell you, we've got a very special product down there, and it's on a very special piece of property. And what we want parents to know is not just about fun. It's about changing kids' lives. We're in the business of youth development, and it's what we really work hard to do.
Sounds good. Have a good summer, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.